Welcome back to the Guardians of Lore, Chapter 22, The Lake. Sebastian was waiting for us at the dock. This time, there was no dinghy behind his boat. So, he asked, how'd it go? Saw an awful lot of fairies and one big dragon leaving in a hurry over my lake. It went all right, so I said modestly. I got to tackle an evil fairy. Good for you, said Sebastian sincerely. We started for the other side of the lake. What are you going to do with the pan? Asked Swai with excitement. The pans and the book of lore were sitting next to me. Well, I think it's only right to return the book and the real fairy tale pan back to the fairies, I said. No, not that pan. I mean the author pan. You can use it to create anything you want. You saw what it did back there. So I was getting more and more animated as he spoke. I hadn't thought about it, I answered. Instead of just doodling, you could be creating entire cities, kingdoms. The possibilities are endless, so I said. Deli placed her hand over mine. What do you think you should do with it? She asked kindly. I looked at Sebastian. He was watching me intently as well. His words were running through my head. You were chosen for a reason. Deli has said that I thought differently than Tyrant, and that was why I discovered the identity of the other pan. But that couldn't be all. Maybe I was chosen so that I could put the pan to good use. There was so much that I could do with it. But that didn't seem like the answer either. Instead of just recording tales in the book of lore, Tyrant could have been using the pen to create his own version of things. There's no telling what he would have done if he had known. In their cleverness, the dwarfs had tricked him to conceal the pen's identity. Above all else, they wanted it protected, and in a way, they were the ones who had chosen me to do it. They needed someone to find the pen who would know what to do with it once the story was over. And I did. I picked the pen out of my pocket and wrote one last note in small letters, covering it with my other hand. I waited until the words were safely inside the book. Then I reached my hand out over the side of the boat. I shut my eyes and dropped the pen into the lake. Deli let out a laugh and gave me a hug. What? But what? What was all that Swai could say? Sebastian smirked at me and continued rowing. Swai let out a sigh. Well, I don't get it, but I don't get most of this anyway. Soon, we were on the other side of the lake. Sebastian pulled us up to the dock and held the boat steady as we stepped out. How will we back up? I asked him. Same way you got down, he answered. Thank you, I said as we all waved goodbye. It was my pleasure. Best fare I ever had, Sebastian said with a wink. He disappeared into a purple mist before I could respond. When we approached the tunnel again, I still didn't know what Sebastian had meant. He said, same way you got down, Deli repeated. As I stuck my hand past the opening, felt something odd. There was a gravity inside the hole pulling me in, same as from the other direction. Swai, I said, try to enjoy this time. I jumped forward and was immediately falling again, this time upside down. A few minutes later, I was tossed up and into the cave room with the 5 animal doors. I noticed that the doors were all open and calm. The only stirring was far away at the bottom of the cloud beyond the middle door. I peered through, down from the top of the cloud. There was a dragon, a golden dragon, and a fairy, surrounded by a circle of warlocks. Moments later, Swai and Deli popped out of the tunnel. I closed the door shut. Outside the entrance of the mountain, my bed was waiting for us. It was nice to see it again. I probably could have fallen asleep on it right then and there, but I knew there was a lot of traveling left to do, so I climbed on top and took my spot up front. "Hey Deli," I asked, "do you know a good place for 3 heroes to celebrate after an adventure?" "I do," she responded with a smile. And with that, we set off for Paphardale on my flying bed.